here is somebody confused about things
Good morning from Australia.
we say in Australia. I don't know how this showed up in my recommended. Sometimes I just see videos from people talking about Australia. I'm like, ooh, Australia. I'm from there. So 26 weird things Australians say. I saw this. I watched a couple of the first points, and I kind of want to explain some like Australian slang that gets used that a lot of people seem to be confused about. Or like just confused about not even just slang, just speech patterns that also exist in Australia as well. So this video is by Gabrielle Linda. 7K subs, 33K views. So let's see what she has to say.
From Australia. Weather update is it is very rainy today.
Yeah.
So
What is it here? It is kind of cloudy. It's not that rainy though. It was raining earlier.
Not be getting out of this Udi until I need to go to work in like half an hour, 45 minutes. But I thought today it would be fun to sit down and share with you all some weird things as a Canadian that I've heard Australians say since coming here on my working holiday visa.
What is that camera angle?
But okay, let's just get right into it because I have been keeping a list since getting here. But the first thing I noticed that was kind of weird that Australians said to me was, how are you going? Like in Canada, we ask, how are you doing? But in Australia, to see like how you are, they ask, how are you going?
You get a bit of both, actually. I sometimes say, how you doing? But you usually say, how you doing? You don't really use the R. You like drop the R. Again, this is the Australian thing of just cutting out as many words as possible, cutting out as many syllables as possible, speaking in as quick of a way as can be done. Doesn't matter if everybody can't understand a word you're saying, but the Australians can. But yeah, how you going? How you doing? I don't think it's definitely one or the other. Maybe where she is, one's more prevalent. But I know I definitely hear both, and I definitely say both myself.
Instead of how are you doing. The next thing Australians say is too easy, as in like
Too easy.
Right on, or like awesome, thank you. Like when you do something for them or you tell them something.
I don't think I've ever... The only time I say awesome is in text. Maybe I say awesome a little bit, but yeah. Too easy. Yeah, too easy is definitely like the go-to. Too easy, or you bet, or you're on, things like that. But like... maybe, what was the other one she gave here?
Like when you do something for them or you tell them something, thank you. Like when you right on, or like...
Yeah, right on. No, right on no one says.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna get many thank yous. You're not gonna get thank yous for just like little random things. Second one sounds normal. Second one, like too easy. Or do you mean like one of the other examples she gave?
Too easy, as in like right on, or like awesome, thank you.
You especially won't hear awesome sauce. Too easy. Yeah, too easy is just like that just makes sense to me.
Like when you do something for them or you tell them something.
Too easy.
And they're like accepting what you're saying, they say too easy. Another one they say that's kind of along the same lines is legend.
You fucking legend. Yeah, yeah, for sure. You definitely get legend a lot. You legend. Or it's either, it depends on, well, okay, legend is what you say around people that you don't want to swear around. Otherwise, you'll say like, oh, fucking top cunt. Like, but you know, you can't usually use that one in a lot of business context, so legend makes more sense there.
Or they say you're a legend. Or if you say something that they like, they just say legend.
Yeah.
Of course, the classic cheers. They say cheers a lot. It's like a word of approval.
Cheers.
Or sometimes even like thank you, they'll say cheers. Something that I actually...
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Like, obviously you have cheers. Carl Jobs taught me you legend. But yeah, obviously you have cheers in like a dining context. Like, you know, you clink your glasses together, you say cheers. But nah, cheers is just like... cheers is also just generally used. I think she's actually, this is one of those few videos I've seen where the person making the video actually knows what they're talking about. I've heard a lot of these living in Australia videos. People just sound like they're making shit up.
Even like, thank you, they'll say cheers. Something that I actually really like Australians saying is darl. Darl. Kind of sounds like doll when they're saying it, but it's like short for darling. Like, thanks, doll.
Dal. Have I heard anyone say dal before? Well, I guess I'm not a woman, so... Dal. I think you get that more from older people. You don't really hear that as much from like, Zoomers. Like, if you're talking to someone who's, like, 50 or older, you might hear that one, but... Yeah, usually not from younger people. And especially, like, someone 50 or older who lives, like, rural, you definitely hear quite a bit, I guess.
It's and I've never heard anyone in Canada say that before. Obviously, in true Australian fashion, cunt, I've never heard that word be used so
Why
much.
did you... Wait, I don't think you understand how... I don't think you understand how censoring works. I don't think you understand what the asterisk is supposed to do in this context. Oh, I love that. That's great.
I actually don't know if I've ever really heard anyone use that word. In Canada, we mostly just drop like F-bombs every second word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd never.
In Australia, like it's completely normal. Bro, do you have an Aussie slang question? Can the verb to root mean to fuck in Australia? Yes. Is there another does to root mean anything else? Because that's the only meaning I know of. When I hear that word, something about to go down, and I leave the area. Well, usually in Australia, like when people say cunt, it's very much like very context dependent, right? Like it can be used the same way as mate or legend, where it can either be like something you say, like it's like something you say to your friends, like oh you fucking top cunt, like it's some like oh you know cool dude, things like that, or it can be like the start of a fight, like oi get over here, like that sort of deal.
I've really heard cunt before, but they say it all the time. They say it to their friends.
Yep.
It could be like an endearing thing, or it can just mean like a person. Like, I don't know. They use it all the time. Another one that I know isn't like purely just Australian. It's also from like Europe and stuff. They just say rubbish. We don't say rubbish. We say like garbage or trash, and they say rubbish.
Rubbish is the main thing. You get a bit of garbage, and you get a bit of trash. But people don't say trash can, for example. It's rubbish bin. Or or garbage can, or garbage bin. It's rubbish bin.
So I think that's kind of funny. Another weird one that they say when you say thank you, instead of saying like it's all good, I feel like that's when in Canada we say it's like oh no problem, like it's all good. They'll say it's all right.
No, I think we get it's all good. Rubbish sounds fancier than trash. I'm using it. You get that a lot in the UK. I think it's just a UK English thing. It's all right.
And that one kind of threw me off at the beginning because in Canada I feel like we don't really say like it's all right as like a no problem thing. It's like it's all right. It's all right.
I don't know. I say it's all good. I guess you might hear it's all right sometimes. Actually, well, usually you don't hear the entire word. If you do hear, it's like, is like, yeah, like you cut out as many syllables as possible.
Don't worry about it. Like you've done something wrong.
Or you'll hear like no problem, right?
But it's all right because I can handle it. You know what I mean? Rather than like, oh, it's no problem. You're welcome.
You hear no biggie a lot as well.
Instead of you're welcome. Something funny that I've heard Australians say that I really like actually is a feed, like a meal. They're going to eat some food. I'm just going for a quick feed. I'm here to grab myself a feed. Yeah, I like that one. I think it's neat. They call liquor stores, bottle-os,
Okay, so let me explain. I wonder if she's going to explain the bottle thing.
or bottle shops. And a lot of Australian bottle-os or bottle shops are drive-through, which is strange. We don't have that in Canada.
Okay, she didn't explain the bottle thing. Maybe because it's the short video. So bottle is like Band-Aid, right? Bottle is an actual, like, bottle is an actual store. So it's one of those things where it's like a generic term that's it's a company name that became a generic term, right? But yes, we do have a lot of drive-through bottle shops as well. Usually the drive-through ones are like attached to a pub. Like you'll have the pub and then there'll be like a common brand in South Australia is Thirsty Camel. So there'll be the pub and then attached to the pub is the drive-through Thirsty Camel. Doesn't mean that here in Canada. Hence the clothing brand Roots has the sub-brand Root Kids, which Australian find disconcerting. Root Kids. Yeah, maybe don't say that one in Australia. Drive-through liquor store. Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to drink in the car. But, you know, you're on your way home from work. You want to, like, pull in, grab some, I don't know, fucking... what's a beer Americans have? You want to grab some Bud Light. We don't have Bud Light here. You want to grab some Heineken, some 4X Gold. You want to fucking die. You want to grab some, I don't know, something actually good, like a pack of Strong Zeros, which I still have on my desk from last weekend. We have beer barns with all alcohol and women in swimwear with backlights in the drive-thru. Well, here's a fun thing about Australia. So it's a state-by-state thing, but some states allow you to have alcohol in a supermarket. Others don't. So in my state, you don't have alcohol in a supermarket. The way they do it is there is a sub-brand of the supermarket that is usually, like, attached to the building. So it's, like, its own separate room. But, like, it's still effectively the supermarket, right? But you don't see the alcohol on the same shelves as, like, the dog food, for example.
They call gas stations a servo.
Yep.
Like, a service station, I guess? We just call them gas stations.
Well, it's a service station because there's not just gasoline, right? There's not just petrol. They also usually have like a place to pump up your tires. They'll have there's some things like window squeegees, right? So like it's an area to do some service, and some servos also have a mechanic attached to them as well. Usually that's like the really bigger ones, but yeah, it's more than also like they usually have like a little supermarket attached to them, right? Like a lot of places in the US I imagine have this as well, but like there'll be a shop. It's not just buying the petrol there. You can also like buy some light groceries. You can buy some fucking Powerade or whatever there.
They have this weird nickname for the afternoon called Arvo. They'll say this Arvo. Also, when I say it in my accent, everything sounds so harsh and like not cool, but
Hey, don't pay us welcome.
Arvo, I didn't know what that was when I first got here, but
Salvo. Yeah, I don't know anyone who says afternoon. Well, okay. No, I do. You hear people say afternoon if they are from some of the poshy areas. There's some from like, if they're like from Melbourne, right? Arvo is like, you know, you grow up in the suburbs. You grow up, you know, middle class, working class. If you say afternoon, you're probably from a rich family. Again, this is the whole thing about Australians liking to delete as many syllables as possible.
it just means afternoon. They call McDonald's Macca's,
Yep.
which I'd never heard before. I've heard people call it Don's. In Canada, we call it Don's, Mickey D's, but I'd never heard Macca's.
Fucking go on a Macca's run. Quick fucking Macca's run.
That's what everyone calls it here. They call trucks utes. Never heard that one. They call candies.
Okay. She's gonna get to the candy one in a moment. I'll save that one. So, ute is an interesting term. So traditionally what a ute would be is it would be a sedan with a flatbed. Now, these don't really exist anymore because this is something that came out of Australian car manufacturing. Even like Ford, for example, when they were shipping cars to Australia, they would often have a ute variant of the car. Now, Australia doesn't have car manufacturing anymore, so what you see happen is now bigger SUVs that have a flatbed, like the Ford Ranger, like the Toyota Hilux, like the F-150 even, but we'll get to F-150s in a moment. Now, SUVs that have a flatbed are also being considered a ute. Now, what we've had recently happen is we've recently had the US-style trucks start showing up in Australia. And because we're calling a Hilux a ute, logically it makes sense to also call an F-150 a ute. Right? So ute used to mean sedan with a flatbed, but now it's expanded out to just basically mean the same thing as a US truck. Fun fact, many Canadian provinces have government monopolies on liquor. Recently, there was a huge fight when Ontario allowed beer to be sold in convenience store. Okay, that's weird. Sure.
Lollies?
Yeah, there we go. Let's go back. Let me just go back a moment.
These lollies, which they call trucks utes. Never heard that one. They call candies lollies.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to say that one for a moment. Yes, candy in Australia is called lollies. Yes, this is always funny to like weebs who live outside the country. Yeah. To anyone who's not a weeb, it's fine. We don't need to go into the we don't need to go into the lolly question. Will they ban the lollies?
Which I thought lollies were just like a lollipop, but no, it's like any kind of candy are called lollies. Another thing they say instead of like no problem.
Clearly she is not a weeb.
Is no drama.
Yeah, that's true. No problem we do say. No drama as well. I think no drama is probably more common for a lot of people. But no problem we do still say.
Just kind of neat. They call sausages, like hot dogs, snags. Like
No. No. Yes and no. So, a sausage and a hot dog are different things. How are they different things? I don't know. But I know the difference when I see one. Like, I don't know how to explain the difference between a hot dog and a sausage. Hot dog is fake sausage. Well, another term that you often see used is Franks. So here we have some footy Franks. I'm guessing it comes from the word Frankfurt? Yeah. So, hot dog, I guess, is a... Again, I know it when I see it, but I guess the way we use it is... Hot dog is specifically Frankfurters. Here a sausage is always encasing, a Frank is all beef. I guess, probably? We don't use the term, like, here's the thing, right? We use the term franks in products, but no one says franks. I have never heard a single person say franks or frankfurts. It's always hot dog. I think you might be onto something, yeah. I once heard "you're right" is used as a greeting in the UK. In the US, we use that as express concern. Use that to express concern for someone else. Yeah, so in Australia, we will say things like "how you going?" or "you're right" as like a way to say hi to someone. Now, if you actually go into your life story, they will not care because they don't actually care if you're all right or how you're going. How you going is kind of like going up to someone and saying, "how's the weather?" Right? You're not actually trying to start a conversation, but you're just making small talk as like a greeting, I guess. But yeah, the hot dog sausage thing. Frankfurts are hot dogs. Sausages are, I guess, things with a casing. Yeah. But yes, also, we call sausages snags. Don't call a hot dog a snag, or you will sound stupid.
Sausages, like hot dogs, snags.
But I guess in Canada, I don't know about America, but in Canada, I'm guessing they use the term sausage for hot dog and frankfurts.
More like smokies. And also when they eat their hot dogs, they don't and also dogs, snags. Well, I guess more like smokies. And also when they eat their hot dogs, they don't use hot dog buns. Everyone here uses white bread folded around the snag, which I thought was a little... Everyone here uses white bread folded around the snag.
No. Okay. This now you're offending me. Okay. So you eat a sausage, a snag with white bread. You eat a hot dog with a hot dog bun. Okay? So if you go to Wendy's, our Wendy's is different to American Wendy's. I don't know how this ever ended up happening. If you go to Wendy's and you order a hot dog, this is a fucking awful sight. Let me show pictures. God damn it! Someone fucking load an image. Okay, here we go. If you go to Wendy's and you order a mega dog, I think is what they call this, it will come in a hot dog bun. This is the correct way to eat a hot dog. Now, if you go to... No, it's not a fucking Bunnings hot dog. It's a Bunnings snag. Shut up, Google. Oh my god, it's not showing it. If you go to Bunnings and you get yourself a sausage, that will come in white bread. These are two different things. Now, they might look like the same shape meat, but they are not the same thing. You eat a hot dog with a hot dog bun, you eat a snag with white bread. If you eat a snag in a hot dog bun, you are weird. If you eat a hot dog in white bread, you are weird. That looks cursed, not being in a bun. So, the Bunnings sausage chisel thing, this is like a charity thing. So what you'll have happen is you'll have like a local Red Cross, local school, things like that, showing up on like the weekends, selling, doing a sausage sizzle, selling these to raise money for whatever. Now, another thing you have happen, I'm gonna show you another Australian thing. This... Oh my god, there's a Wikipedia page for it. This is what is known as the democracy sausage. So, there is a common trend of... The Red Crosses are all around the world. There is a common trend of, because Australia has mandatory voting and no one wants to be there, there will often be a sausage sizzle at the voting booth. Like, not like in the area you vote in, but like in the like outside area. They will often have a sausage sizzle at that area. Because I don't know how you guys handle voting booths, but the way we do it here is on voting day, all of like the local schools and a lot of public buildings are converted into voting areas. And there are actually maps of which ones are going to have democracy sausages. Now, I don't usually get a democracy sausage because I show up very early because I don't want to deal with people. So if they say we open at 6 in the morning, I show up at 6 in the morning, and the only other people there are the grannies who are also awake at 6 in the morning. And usually at the start, they haven't started cooking yet. So I don't usually get one. But, yes, democracy sausage is a real thing. And there'll usually be someone there cooking up some democracy sausages. I do that, but I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person either, but I can get up in the morning for one day so I don't have to stand in a line to vote for 3 hours. Because I've done that before, and that's awful.
Which I thought was a little funny because the only time we really do that in Canada is when we like run out of hot dog buns, but they do that as their first option here. I also didn't know what a swag was until I came here. There are a lot of people that have swags, and they're basically just like a single...
Yeah, do you guys... That's a question. Do you guys have swags? And if not, if you have no idea what I'm saying, I'm gonna show you a swag, and then you can tell me what they call them. Maybe you just call them... Maybe you don't have a separate term for them. But it's basically a one-person tent. So it's a tent that is literally just a bed. I don't know if you have a different name for them or not, or you just call them like one-person tents. I imagine like everyone would have them, but I don't know if you just call it a tent or not. But I guess sometimes you can get like two-person ones. But it's a tent that is literally just a bed, right? So there's no, like, you don't spend time in it like you would with like an actual tent. The only time you go in there is to sleep. Or to fuck, depending on how big it is. And depending on whether you have people with you. Oh yeah, sure. Swag gets used as well in the clothing context, sure. But like, it also means like this one-person tent.
Tent thing that a single person could fit into and sleep in for like camping and stuff. Now here are a couple of weird ones. A stubby is what they call a bottle. So if they go into like a bottle shop or if they go into a bar, they'll ask for a stubby of something. That just means a bottle of something. And if they want the can of something, they'll call it a tinny sometimes.
Depends. I don't really hear stubby as much. And tinny again is often like, that's like an older Australian thing. And the thing is, here's the thing, right? Stubby also kind of means can as well. Let me grab something. Because this is what is known as a, let me go full screen. This is known as a stubby holder. Don't you guys call them, like, koozies or something? I've heard, like, a weird term for them. That's koozie or something like that sounds close to what I've heard. Huggy or koozie. Yeah. Yeah, here they're a stubby holder.
Or a tin. Another weird thing they say instead of just thank you is they'll say thanking you. I've never heard anyone say
I've never heard a single human being say thanking you. If I did, I would punch them.
Thanking you before as thank you, but they say it. And they also say ta. Like, I didn't know
ta?
what that was the first time someone said that to me. They'll say ta. But it just means thank you. Now this one.
kind of. So, tar is another one of those words that means a couple of things. So, it can mean thank you, but it can also mean, like, you also might say it to a kid if they're, like, let's say the kid has, I don't know, a fucking knife or something. I don't know, something a kid shouldn't have. And you say tar as, like, give me the thing. It's one of those weird words where it's like, you're thankful for a thing happening, but it's not necessarily thank you.
Is just silly. Again, was very confused the first time I heard it. Was sanger. It means sandwich. Like a steak sanger is a steak sandwich.
That's again another one you hear from older people as well. You don't really hear that as much from young people.
But a ranger is a redhead.
Yes, we love. Yes. A ranger is a redhead. Do you want to know? Okay, do you want me to explain why a ranger is a redhead? I wonder if anyone's gonna get it. I will show you the picture after someone has a guess, because it's gonna make perfect sense once you see it. Let me open this picture because they're bangers. Okay, here. What word does ranger sound like? Or better yet, what is... Do we also call them gingers? Yes, but ranger is more common. And usually ranger is also used as like an endearing thing. Like people use it positively. So, there is an animal called an orangutan. Orangutan. Orangutan? I actually don't know how to say it properly. Ranger, orangutan. Get it? See the correlation? See the connection there? They are rangers. Most people don't think of it like this, but this is how the term came about.
Another thing Australians say that I'd never heard before coming here was, it won't be a minute. When they're trying to tell you like what they're about to do, it won't take long. In Canada, I think we say like, it'll just be a minute or just a second. They'll say,
it won't be a minute. Yeah, you hear that a bit.
Tell you like what they're about to do, it won't take long. In Canada, I think we say like, it'll just be a minute. Or
yeah, usually it'll be a minute. We don't put the just in there. Or just a sec.
Or just a second.
Yeah. We don't really say just a second. Usually just a sec. It won't be a minute. Usually, if someone says it won't be a minute, usually that's someone in like a businessy context. Like if you're at the Australian version of the DMV, right? What is bluey supposed to mean? It's a dog that's blue. That's what bluey means. That's what bluey means. And sometimes we just put like E on the end of things. Like it's just like a... Australians like to turn simple words into nicknames, right? Whereas like you'll meet someone named Barry, right? And their nickname then becomes Bazza. Or Sharon, Shazza. Jason, Jazza. Darren, Dazza. Is the Australian DMV as depressing as the US DMV? Yes. Yes. Pretty much. A lot of stuff you can do online. Unless you need... Usually, unless it's something specific, you don't need to go in. Like, if I need to pay my registration, things like that, I can just do it online. I can transfer the ownership of a car online. The last time I went in, what do we even call it? I actually don't remember what they're called because it's been a fucking long time since I went there. Australia DMV. What is it called? Service SA. Right. Different states call them different things, but our like government thing for it is called Service SA. Right. Yeah, unless you're like you're getting your license, or you might go in there if you're like paying a fine, but you can pay a fine in a lot of other places as well. Yeah, a lot of stuff now you can just do online, so most people don't need to go in there. That means a lot of them are also shutting as well because they don't need as many of them.
It won't be a minute. And get this one, okay? A doggy bag. What does that make you think of?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you think of doggy bag? Because I've never really thought about this one, but it does kind of sound weird. Small purse? That's actually a good one. Leftovers, yeah, someone knows.
A doggy bag makes me think of, like, the bag that you use to pick up your dog's waste when you go.
Wait, hold up. She won't say shit, but earlier in the video she was saying, like, she said cunt like 10 times. What a weird set of priorities. She won't say poop or shit, but she'll say cunt. Sure.
Go on a walk. But in Australia, if someone asks for a doggy bag, they're probably at a restaurant asking if they can have a takeaway container, which I don't know where that came from, but I feel like I don't want to know that.
I don't know either. Some places you will say, can we get some containers? Usually a doggy bag is, you would say that for like a small amount. But like if you're at like a Chinese place, for example, because, you know, if you go to a Chinese place, I assume it's the same in the US, where if you order Chinese food, you get enough for 20 people. Like, you order large rice, and it's like large rice for 5 people, right? In that context, you'd usually say, can we get some containers? But most of the time, it would be doggy bag.
Versions of that. If you're Australian or have been to Australia, I would love for you to comment down below your favorite weird things that Australians say, or things that you feel are very Australian to say. Like, other than g'day, mate, which they honestly, like, don't say that much. Or if you're not...
I say g'day. Every time I walk into work, I just walk... Everyone at work, I'm like, g'day. Just fucking saluting everyone. Fucking g'day, mate. Fucking g'day. How's it going? But that's just a me thing. And you will hear, again, you hear g'day a lot from older people. Australia is like a lot of other countries, where Australia has very much Americanized. Bluey was in this list. Was it? Hold on, let's see. What? Let me see this list. Oh, actually, that's a fair point. I completely forgot about that one. A name often given to blue heeler. Yeah. Okay, actually, that's a really good point. So, a blue heeler is a type of cattle dog. It's one of these boys. Well, I guess this one's a girl. Yeah, I get that's actually a good point. I don't know what like breed of dog Bluey is supposed to be. But yeah, I'm maybe Bluey's supposed to be a blue heeler. I don't know. It's very cartoony. Fucking goon bag. What else? What other fun ones do we have here? Short black espresso. Hot chips. Yeah, love is a fun one you'll hear. Similar to mate. Fucking... Here you go. Here you have is, here you have peak Australian, peak Australian slang. Fucking... Bricky. Bricklayer. Sparky. Electrician. Chippy. Carpenter. Bikey. Member of a bike gang. cocky. I don't really hear cocky for that. Usually, cocky is used for like the cockatiel. That's a kind of bird. In case you don't know what that is, let me show you a cockatiel. I don't know. I don't know if like where cockies like come from, like what countries they live in, but is one of these birds. Battler, smacky. Yeah, fucking smackhead, as in heroin addict. Here we go. Here we have a good one. Here we have a good one. I've never heard someone say Mexicans. Fucking New Zealander, sheep shagger. Queenslander, banana bender. Okay, the banana bender one's a fun one that you might not understand if you're not Australian. So, Queensland has a lot of banana farms. That's why. That's the reason why. Western Australia, sand grouper. So, this is because Western Australia has a lot of mines. That's why. There's a lot of mines. A lot of mining jobs are in Western Australia. So, you know, they're feeling around the sand a lot. They're a sand grouper. Kiwi, New Zealander. More often than not, you'll hear Kiwi. Sheep shag is one you'll hear, like, friends say to each other talking shit. But you don't usually say sheep shagger to someone that you haven't met before. Clown, peanut, bushfire, Australia, the G. Melbourne cricket ground. I don't live in Melbourne. I have never heard that one before. Oh, what do we have in here? The reps. Democracy sausage. Vote one candidate name. Yeah. Yeah, so in the way that our elections work is you vote one on the candidate that you want to vote for. We have I forgot what the term is, but you don't vote for one person. You vote, or you apply your order of preference. So you'll vote one on we can put it in like US terms. Like you vote one on, I don't know, the fucking Libertarian Party. You vote two on the Conservatives. You vote three on the Democrats. I think it's called preferential voting. I can go into a long talk about how preferential voting works, but yeah. You have to go to a booth. Does Australia have mail-in ballots? Yes, we do. We've had mail-in ballots basically forever. They were most often used by people overseas and, like, obviously Australians who are traveling, not, like, actually people overseas who don't live in the country. People who are traveling or, like, old people would use them. But ever since COVID, obviously, they became more common.
Australian and have never been, I would love for you to tell me where you're from and what do you feel is the most, like, stereotypical things that are only really said where you're from. I'll leave you with that. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this video finds you well. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
But yeah, usually if you're doing mail-in, like you just apply for it and they're like, hey, here you go. It used to be a bit harder, but now they just like send you like, hey, you want to do mail-in? Here you go.